women who are in relationships where the relationship is going south. Perhaps the partner starts out looking promising but has failed to live up to his promise. Perhaps he becomes an alcoholic or a drug addict or loses his job or starts abusing her, starts beating her up. That women use affairs as a mate-switching device, either to divest herself of her regular partner, or to trade up in the mating market to someone who's more desirable, or to make it easier to transition back into the mating market on the assumption that she'll be able to find someone more desirable out there. And so there's at least a fair amount of circumstantial evidence that supports the mate switching hypothesis, like the one I just mentioned. Women, with 79% of women becoming emotionally involved or falling in love with their partner, this suggests, it's not just, I'm seeking transient attention, as you mentioned. That some women might do it for that, of course. But it suggests that they're forming a long-term attachment to this other guy rather than their regular partner. So here's another one, and this may seem like super, super obvious, is that women who are unhappy with their regular relationship, either sexually unhappy or generally unhappy with their overall relationship, they're more likely to have affairs. Now, this seems like the most obvious thing in the world, right? Yeah, sure. Tell me something your grandmother couldn't tell you. You're unhappy in the relationship, you're more likely to have an affair. But it turns out the same is not true for men. That is, there are at least some studies that show that if you compare men who have affairs with men who don't, there's no difference in how happy they are with the relationship. And that's why you can have men, and just to bring up, movie star examples, this is an older one, but Hugh Grant was involved with Elizabeth Hurley. I don't know if you remember that one. And he's like having sex with a prostitute in L.A. Why is he cheating with Elizabeth Hurley? Kind of crazy. Now, in that case, the male motivation for affairs differs, on average, substantially from the female motivation. And that is that men have this tremendous desire for sexual variety, meaning a variety of sex partners. Men tend to have a higher sex drive in general, on average, and so they try to satisfy. So even men who are involved with or married to classically beautiful, beautiful women sometimes have affairs, and people are very puzzled by this. But that desire for sexual variety is what drives most men into affairs. And so there's a dramatic sex difference in why men have affairs, with desire for sexual variety pushing most men into it. It's like, I think it was Chris Rock said, men are only as faithful as their opportunity. You get a low-cost opportunity, a lot of men act on it. If you're like an academic, you're away at a conference, you're in a different town, some fall into bed with someone else, one night stand, a brief affair, and that's that. But women, it's really different. Of course, some women do it just for sexual variety too, but that's a minority. If you ask the question, why do most women have an affair, I think that's the mate switching notion.